So this is a new horse at the Wexford Training Barn. She is an off-the-track thoroughbred mare. She raced about 3 years, landed at a off-the-track rescue, right? And this is her first day of training. So as you can see, she's a little bit amped up, right? So I'm going to let her trot a little bit, and then I'm going to ask her to wait and stop and ask her to walk, right? So she's been here just since Tuesday. Today's Saturday, and this is her first time out of the paddocks, away from the other horses, in the work area, right? So if she, good girl. So what makes her feel better is flight. So her defensive strategy, like most racing thoroughbreds, is win in fear, when in doubt, run in circles, scream and shout. And she can kind of get out of hand pretty quick. So I have a rope halter and a heavy lead rope on her because I need the leverage in case she acts out. I'm in an enclosed area, but it's a big one. And my neighbors are busy doing hedging and mowing and landscaping. And there's always a lot of activity in my riding area, right? Between my neighbors, and it's sort of on the road and she can't see the other horses. So what I'm going to do is what I do with new horses coming in to help them feel safe and relax. If she trots, I allow a little bit of it, but before it starts to escalate out of control, I'm just going to reel her in, and that's why I'm on a short rope. And I don't want her coming too close when she's this energetic, so I'm just sort of swinging the lead rope to let her know that's as far as I want you to come towards me, right? But I'm just staying in calm, relaxed motion. I'm going to try to get her to walk towards me, right? If she needs to trot, I'll let her trot a little bit, slowly try to shut her down to halt or walk, right? Because I do want to release the pent-up energy. You can see she's sort of raring to go. And before I talk about her history and introduce her and all that, today's literally our first work session. So it may be a little bit of a longer video. I do plan to work with her an hour, but we'll see what we get kind of at the 20-minute mark. So 20 minutes from now. So here, if she stays at the walk, I'll let her wander. When she goes to the trot, and there's her friend screaming for her. When she goes to the trot, I'm just sort of reeling her back in to face me. And then I would rather that she walk and look at me and release the energy slowly with more calmness, more thoughtfulness, rather than just letting her kind of get her energy up, because the upward transitions build energy. And it takes a long time for some horses to spend so much energy that they become calm, because the faster speeds tend to increase forward energy before they become tired. So I'm going to let her trot a little bit. If she wants to walk around me and be a little distracted, that's fine, right? If I can get her to connect with me, then that's even better. If I can stay calm and just in a slow rhythmic walk, and I can't walk backwards very fast, so it's going to be slow, she's going to have to halt and walk to be mindful of my space, but I'm giving her a very strong moving focus, right? So when she gets distracted, if I sort of go the opposite direction, I can bring her mind back on me and kind of keep giving her something safe to focus on instead of all the millions of distractions. And it's a perfect day for this. We have a lot going on. It's a little bit windy. The neighbors are busy. All of that is a perfect situation to just work on sort of this mental focus and slowing down the movement, right? So she needs to move to release this pent-up energy. But if I let her go around me and choose the speed of the walk, she pretty quickly escalates into the trot. By asking her to walk towards me, but I'm maintaining a safe distance, she has to walk and halt and walk and halt and walk and halt to release that pent-up energy. Sort of like if you have a shaken up bottle of soda, you don't want to just take the lid off quickly. If you release it slowly, you let some of that pressure out, right, without the big explosion all over your kitchen that I've done many times, right? And like I said, the mowers are going, the edgers, the weed whackers, somebody's fixing his gate, and it has this high-pitched beeping sound every once in a while. And this is just life in the neighborhood that she's going to have to get used to work out here safely, right? So you see, I keep my steady walk, my calmness, and my visual and mental focus on her. That's very nice, right? She comes down a little bit. So I don't want her physically tired. I would rather, with a horse that goes into high flight, I would rather keep everything slow and have her think her way into feeling safe, right? So I'm her very, very strong focus. I'm the sort of consistent factor with all these noises and distraction and newness of the environment, right? So she can halt, but I keep going, so that means she's going to have to walk. I'm just sort of wandering around, right? If she does that and looks off distracted that way, I'm just going to choose to go the opposite way till she walks towards me again. If she's not paying attention to me, this is not really aimed at her. This is just movement that helps her realize I don't want her to come too close to me. I want her to connect with me. I want her to follow me, but I don't want her on top of me, especially when that energy is high, right? And this is a typical first session when I get a new horse in training, to just get them used to and comfortable in the environment where they're going to be working, right? Some barns have nice, quiet arenas. There's no noise, not much going on. That's not my barn. I always have something going on, right? And I go, but I got to get the training done anyways. So when I tune out the environment and I ignore it and I pay attention to my horse, I teach her to connect with me and ignore everything around her, which is really the reason that blinkers were invented, is because out of sight, out of mind. So if I can keep gaining her attention on me, halt, walk, halt, walk, halt, walk, right? You see the energy coming down, right? She's relaxing, she's calming down, she's taking it all in. I'm not asking for her undivided attention. She can look around, right? But I'm not giving her a chance to escalate that fear. I'm kind of redirecting, right? So I'm looking for this attention from her, but I'm not demanding it. I'm just sort of this moving target that keeps catching her attention, right? When she wants to look over there and I go the opposite way, she sort of has to make a choice. Do I follow the human or do I keep looking over there? Either way is kind of okay, but if she starts to go faster than a walk, if she comes too close, I'm just setting a little boundary, not against her, for me, right? And she needs to move to release the emotional energy. That's part of her defensive strategy, is flight. So I can't ask her to stand completely still, but I can ask her to halt, walk, regulate the movement a little bit, not just blast off at the trot or the canter, until I see that calmness start to come through, right? So when she can look a little calmer, when she offers to connect with me a little more instead of checking out everything in the environment, then I might ask her to walk around me, right? And it's a short lead rope, or it's a long lead rope, but too short for a lunge line. And I picked this rope on purpose because I don't want her getting on such a big circle that she could pick up speed. So the maximum size of my circle is not very big, which means it'll be easier to get her down out of a trot or a canter or a rear or a buck or whatever she wants to throw at me, and get her back into a walk and maybe get her back following me. Now, the more she settles down, the less I have to sort of emphasize my personal space. I can start to trust her a tiny bit more as the energy calms down. The whole time I'm correcting her, my energy needs to stay calm. If her energy scares me, I can't do this. And it's really my energy and my movement, with a little help from the lead rope and halter, that's giving her something safe to lock onto, right? That doesn't involve running herself into exhaustion in order to feel safe, right? I want her to think and connect with me instead of acting out. So the flight defensive strategy involves the direction of away and move. The fight defensive strategy is the opposite. The direction is towards, and they resist moving. Every horse can use both strategies, but every horse has a tendency or a favorite to one or the other. So this mare, Rarely Wrong, I love that name, right? Rarely Wrong, her tendency is flight, obviously. So we get a lot of anxiety, we get high energy, we get lots of movement, not a lot of thinking. So what I'm doing in this exercise is I'm counterbalancing, right? I'm just counterbalancing the direction and the type of motion. So instead of going fast, we go slow and we halt a lot. Instead of letting her go away from me, I'm asking her to come towards me. So it's the opposite of the flight defensive response. If I did this, if she suddenly switched into a fight defensive response, pinned her ears and came at me, this strategy won't work. The strategy is a very specific counterbalance to the specific defense that the horse is using. So like you saw on the very first part of this video, she wanted to go away from me and go up into trot when she felt the most amount of fear. So when I say, let's not trot, let's walk, let's halt a lot, and why don't you come towards me? That's a direct opposite counterbalance to her expression of fear. And that's all it is. That defensiveness behavior is just an expression of fear. So I build confidence and reduce the fear by sort of gently asking her to do the opposite of her particular fear response. Okay? And I just keep watching, because they can switch like that. If they're highly defensive horses, they can bounce between fight and flight that quick, right? They can freeze, or they can do another one called fawn. Those are the 4 defensive strategies for humans and horses, or the 4 major ones. And each one involves a specific type of movement and a specific direction, right? So when we counterbalance in order to gain confidence without punishment, right, we're just counterbalancing their natural tendency to give them more tools to deal with fear, to deal with stress, making them more resilient, right? So it's not her natural tendency to go slow and think her way through potential danger. She just wants to stare at it and then blow up or run away, right? So I'm asking her to come towards me as a sense of safety, or as the beacon of safety, I should say. I'm kind of the lighthouse, right? And it doesn't mean she's going to be perfect. She may blow up if something happens that I have no control over. But what I'm going to do is slowly bring her back to a walk or a halt, try to redirect her attention towards me. So here, when she got stuck and distracted and I kept going, I brought her back into the walk. towards me, towards safety. If she doesn't pay attention and she comes too close, the lead rope is just defining, don't come here. If you really need to blow up, you can go anywhere but here, on me. Right? So this is gonna take a while. We're already at maybe the 15 to 20 minute mark, but you can start to see she's starting to think her way through this and calm down, right? And she's a little bit of an extreme mare. She's my third chestnut with a white blaze. I now have a set of 3 at the Wexford Training Barn. And they do have a bit of a reputation. So this introduction to Rarely Wrong, I'm not really giving a lot of her background because, like I said, she's been in the paddock, making friends, chilling out, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, so 3.5 days. And this is the first time I've gotten her out of the paddock, away from the other horses, and started a work session with her. Right, she came in pretty hot, so this is a beautiful change. Right, so if she gets too stuck, I keep walking. If she comes too fast, I protect myself. If she goes into trot and goes around me, oh, and we got a few those big horse flies. That's going to be interesting. It is that horsefly season. I know those big black ones, they bite hard. Good, so I'm just sort of going around and you can see little by little, she's coming down. So I'll show a little bit more. I may go for like 30 minutes on this video because she's doing well enough that I might ask her to go around me at the walk and see if she could stay at the walk without this very strong focus and very strong direction, right? By me kind of constantly moving and facing her, right? She doesn't really get to halt. She doesn't get to walk too fast. She hasn't chosen to really match my pace yet. She goes a little fast, halt, a little fast, halt, right? But she's really coming down and starting to connect with me, which is great. And so this is a bit of a bonding exercise as well as a way to just help the horse calm down. Because the lead horse, right, the reason they vote for us as, I hate the word lead horse because it's really the horse that can provide safety. And it's not one horse in a herd. It's sort of a collection or the board of directors of the herd, because the actual lead horse is interchangeable. If one's having a hard time, the next trusted herd member or the other board members step in and take care of everybody, right? I can catch her, which means I'm in the herd. What I'm working out now is proving to her through my actions and my energy and my choices, my behavior, that I'm a source of safety for her, right? If she focuses on me and if she moves with me, she'll feel safer and more secure, right? So I'm earning her trust, right? I'm showing her I'm qualified to be on your board of directors as one of the trusted herd leaders as needed, right? Doesn't mean I have to be the boss of her all the time, and God knows that isn't going to work for this mare, right? But can she trust me is the question. And then we can decide who calls the shots. Sometimes it'll be her idea, sometimes it'll be my idea. Right now, her idea is making her feel more fearful and worse. So I'm just giving her a better idea, because it sucks to feel scared. It sucks to feel unsafe, whether you're a horse or a human. So when somebody helps you out, you tend to like that person or that other herd member because they're useful to you, they're helpful to you, right? So the more I help her feel safe, understanding what she needs, the more she's going to be willing to work with me. And the safer she feels, the safer I am working with her. Right? So it's all in our own best interest to earn that trusted herd member position in our horse's mind, because everybody's happier and everybody's safer. And this is such a simple exercise, but so powerful, right? I'm just giving her direction to follow, and you can see sometimes she doesn't, and I have a little pull on the lead rope. And now more and more, she's sort of choosing to just come before it like that. Before I tug the lead rope, there, she chooses to follow me, right? She's choosing to try to connect with me because she's feeling better and better and better. There, not so much. She gets distracted, I keep walking, there's a little light tug on the lead rope, right? So I don't allow her to be too distracted for too long because I'm always moving. I'm always giving her somewhere to go. And my calm energy and my awareness of my own space, I'm speaking her language. I'm telling her I speak horse. Now, here comes her best friend. I can hear the whinnying and the calling in the background. So this is going to be a hard choice, right? She focuses on her friend. She chooses to focus on me. That's lovely, right? So now what we might try, it might all go to hell in a handbasket. Let's find out. If I just sort of push her to keep walking and I choose to stand still. I don't really care where she goes, but now I'm going to ask her to go away from me. And this is a test because I'm triggering her defensive response. I don't care if she backs up. I eventually want her to go forward, right? So I'm just going to kind of keep asking till she figures it out. Once she moves forward, if I get behind her eye, it's not as strong a focus as when I'm in front of her eyes. So you can see she's already more nervous, more distracted. If she can maintain the walk, I can let her do this, right? This is a little bit of a test to see, can you feel safe without that very strong guidance and direction? Maybe she can, maybe she can't. If she can maintain a walk, I can let her kind of, again, think her way through it. If she tries to act out on it by running, then I'm going to have to shut her down and walk backwards again. Give her that stronger direction, stronger focus, right? Here, I'm sort of testing, is she going to choose to check in with me? She's calm enough that she can maintain the walk. That's, right now, a big improvement. Might not last long, but this is going to spend more of that pent-up energy if she can walk at her own speed and circle around me rather than me walking backwards and her just doing walk, halt, right? This will spend a little more pent-up energy, but it needs to be self-regulated enough that she doesn't break into the trot, doesn't try to canter. Then I know she's spending energy in a positive way. She breaks into trot, canter, bucks, rears, tries to pull away. We go back to what we were doing a few minutes ago and spend more time there, less time here. If she gets stuck, right? If she kind of freezes and gets distracted. So her looking out, checking out the environment is because I'm not giving her the motion and the strong something to focus on. I'm still doing the same thing, but I'm asking her to choose me rather than me kind of guiding her with the use of the movement of my body and a little bit of pressure on the lead rope and halter. So this is pretty good, even though she's like, this is just releasing pent-up energy. There's nothing she can do wrong. She could change direction. If she trots, I'm going to say no, don't do that. She tries to come over the top of me, I'm going to say no, don't do that, right? But if she's turned away from me, I don't care. She's walking fast, I don't care. She walks slow, I don't care. Changes direction, I don't care. As long as she doesn't run me over, she can do, that's quite nice. That was a nice choice, right? So again, I'm going to do nothing because halt's good. But you can see she's still got a lot of anxiety. So spending that pent-up energy, I'm just going to ask her to move gently. And when I push her away from me, that's kind of a test to see if she has enough sort of sense of safety internally that she can manage herself and release the energy at the walk without having to bolt, buck, rear, pull away, blow up, all of that other stuff that off the track thoroughbreds love to do because they get way too much energy, right? So this is fantastic, and you can see it's a much faster walk than if I walk backwards. Now, if I had to spend the entire session walking backwards because every time I ask her to walk around me, she would blow up or trot, that's fine. I'll do that. Doesn't matter, right? It's whatever helps the horse. This is a little bit better than I expected, that she didn't immediately go into trot. She's maintaining a walk, even though you can see that energy is still pent up, right? She doesn't quite know how to manage that fear energy, that anxiety. But I go, just walk it off, girlfriend, right? It's like dance it off, just walk it off, right? And she has some lameness issues, so that's another reason. There's some horses, and there's a certain point with this horse, I will let her trot and canter and kind of blow it out her own way. Right now, she has some lameness issues. She hasn't been eating great. She's had a lot of anxiety. She just got her new shoes put on. And so all of that is sort of telling me we don't want to risk a big blow up for a whole variety of reasons. It's not going to ultimately help her, right? Could be unsafe for me, could be unsafe for her physically, right? But the walk, if she wants to walk for 2-3 hours to spend all this energy, nothing wrong with that. Won't hurt her a bit, right? She's just going to let all of that anxiety come out through motion. So I need to let her express her flight, but I don't need to let her express it in a way that's unsafe to her or unsafe to me, right? And blowing up, running around, all of that stuff is not going to help her or me. So she can just walk it out. And if she can't handle or can't maintain the walk without losing it, which happens frequently, and she's kind of on the edge right now, right? If she can walk, there she goes. So as soon as she breaks the walk, I just shorten the lead rope, and I'm going to go back to a stronger focus, get her to come towards me. And when you walk backwards, it's a lot of halt, walk, right? That has the calming effect, right? And then when I look right at her, and if she looks away, I just go the opposite direction, right? So even my movement is just catching her attention. My slow, steady walk, this is about as fast as I can go backwards. I want her coming towards me, but I don't want her coming over me. So I have to give a lot more aids, right? Saying turn right, turn left, better pay attention, don't run me over, can't come that fast, can't stay at halt, right? And again, this stronger focus, which takes more of her attention and slows her down a little bit slower than she can manage for herself, is just showing her you don't need to run in order to feel safe. There are other ways to get there, right? And in this slower walk, again, now I've got to wait. I have no idea if we'll do another circle around us or not, because right now I've got to wait till this energy level starts to come down again, till she starts to voluntarily follow me and can maintain a slower walk because I'm in the way. You can't come too fast because I'm here, right? So you can see how this sort of, I've got more boundaries that help her think her way through this anxiety rather than acting out or reacting to these feelings of fear and anxiety and pent-up energy. right? And like I said, if this is all we did for the first session for an hour, it's only going to help us bond, help her trust me, help her feel better in this new environment, right? Which makes everything else go better too. If she can kind of settle down again and bump it down a few notches, then when I let her walk around me, the walk is much faster. She has to think for herself. She has to make more decisions internally. So it's a bit of a test for her, but it's a no fail, right? As soon as she broke into trot, I just said, I've got you, girlfriend. Let's go back to this, right? No big deal. Let me help you out. I know new places are scary and it's so hard being a redhead. I hear ya, right? So there, every little distraction, I just sort of redirect. And I'm really watching, especially as the energy level increases. I'm very particular about letting her know not to come here. It's not directed at her. That's just letting her know there's an inside donut hole to this situation that you are not allowed in, right? You don't get to come in my space. Not like that. When you settle down a little bit, we will share space, right? And you can see it's not a super hot day, but she's really sweaty. And this sweat is all that emotional energy. So if I just let her run it out and really blow up, I have a potential colic, I have a potential ulcer, I just have all kinds of situations. No good. Right? So I'm going to really manage this energy with her until she can start to manage it for herself. This is getting better again. Yeah? So that's at least a half an hour. I got to stop the video about here, but I'm going to work with her for another half an hour, at least, maybe longer if she needs the time and attention. We'll see how much she can come down, right? But this is always kind of a good first session in a new place for a horse, or when horses come in training, I need them to trust me pretty quickly to be able to change the body physically. The horses have to feel safe to make these changes to their internal coordination. And this level of defensiveness is way too high. So this is how, when I work the horse the first week, it's always to bring in this calmness and trust. This is the work session, right? This is not getting ready to work. This is the work. That's much better, where she lowered her head, had a little lick and chew. So I'm going to stop the video there and continue working with her. And she'll be one I check in with on the YouTube channel a little bit more often. And again, her name is Rarely Wrong. God, I love that name. All right, so that's Rarely Wrong, video 1.